All righty. Hello, ladies. It's Joy Jackson with Speaking of Joy. I am excited. As you know, we are gearing up for the Renewal Retreat. And one of the things that I am doing is giving you an introduction to who I'm calling the Renewal Dream Team. Yes. So I have another member of the Renewal Dream Team here with me today. This is Deanna Reddy. Hey, Deanna, girl. How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing really well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Listen, y'all, I always have to tell a story about how I meet the ladies that I'm working with. So, uh, maybe 3 years ago, I don't even know how long it's been, maybe 2 years, I joined my new dynamic church, the Word of God Christian Fellowship Church. And I was sitting toward middle, right? And there was this girl that was always sitting on the second row. Oh, hair was always pretty. I'm gonna start there. You ain't know I knew that, but your hair was always there. So, I was, yeah. And so as I got, allowed me to move into ministry at the church, um, I remember when I was a young adult at the church, and I remember my young adult ministry and how on fire we were for the Lord. And when I tell y'all that this young lady right here love Jesus, and it's evident in how you live and how you serve and how you worship, in the way that you bring other people to Christ, and that has made just watching your journey amazing. You don't even know, but just watching you and watch how you serve is a blessing. And then to actually get to know you and know all the dynamic things that you do in the space of mental health, but just who you are as a woman of God, it is really admirable. And so when I was looking for a mental health person, I was like, well, Lord, I had one person in mind, and that was you. And then I was like, well, Lord, if she says no, who else am I going to get? Lord was like, well, she's not going to say no, not from that place, but this is the person that you need. So thank you publicly. I always say thank you for saying yes. Because you haven't known me long. So thank you for trusting the God in me and being willing to take this journey with me. So that's all I got to say about
But if you
that.
don't,
So
not.
well, you ain't lying. 2 years, a whole lot of things can change, right? Good and bad. So yes. So I always start this out with asking one simple question, and that is, who is Deanna?
Mm. Well, first of all, let me say I am super, super excited to be here, to be a part of something so magnificent. Probably one of the easiest yes I've said this year. So I'm really excited. Deanna is she has so many different layers.
Mhm,
But Deanna is just a young adult trying to strive throughout different things throughout life. She is a social worker to her core. Um, she is a believer. She believes in mental health and therapy, or mental health and Jesus. She is all the things. Um,
mhm,
she enjoys laughing. She enjoys a good time. She enjoys pouring into others, as well as taking time to pour into myself.
mhm,
Um, I graduated from the Prairie View A&M University with my bachelor's in social work, and then I got my master's from Our Lady of the Lake in social work. So
mhm,
social work is me. Giving back, being that person to kind of help uplift other people. That's just who I am. Um,
mhm,
I love the Lord, just like you said. Um,
mhm,
I love serving at my church.
mhm,
Love being a part of the different ministries I'm in. I'm an aunt.
mhm.
Love that. Love that for me. So that's me. I'm just here and I'm excited.
Good, good. Okay. So let's dive in. Tell me how, because I'm a big believer in therapy. Listen, my therapist retired. I'm like, girl, how you gonna retire when people's lives in the balance? But she'd been doing it for 100 and something years, so she was like, y'all gonna have to either get you some more help or figure it out. But no, but how do you uh, balance mental health and therapy with Jesus? Because we grew up in the church where you take it to the Lord in prayer.
hmm Honestly, I had to really learn that it was okay to do both. Of
Hmm.
course, growing up, mental health wasn't something that we talked about. Wasn't
Yeah.
something that it wasn't never anything that was really discussed in our household or amongst my family. And PK, which is a preacher's kid, my dad is in ministry, and
Hmm.
everything was about prayer. Everything was about prayer. Now, there is nothing wrong with prayer. But it wasn't until I became an adult and started studying and doing everything that it was like, okay, you can seek the Lord and also seek a counselor.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
one thing I've learned is God is the great counselor, but he also has many counselors
Yeah,
who are
yeah.
here to kind of help orchestrate things throughout the world. So if we
Mhm.
can go to the doctor to help with A, B, and C, why can't we go to a therapist to talk about different things, to talk about our life problems? And sometimes people think that, oh, you just go talk to somebody to tell them all about your problems. Well, while that may be the case for some it's to help cope and navigate smaller things. Everything doesn't have to be super traumatic. It could just be a different way to process things.
Mhm. All right. And what do you tell a woman who's trying to process things? And let's just say for the women who will be attending this retreat, everyone's in a different walk of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will say that I truly believe that every woman is a believer.
Mm-hmm.
I had to accept that that's who Speaking of Joy is. That's who we call on. So every woman is a believer.
Mm-hmm.
But many of these women are all in the same place saying, I'm looking for clarity, I'm looking for peace, um, direction. So what do you say from a it doesn't necessarily have to be mental health, but from a perspective of knowing the mental health aspect of that, but also the spiritual aspect and the way that you are beautifully integrating the two. What do
Mm-hmm.
you say to a woman who's like, I'm coming because I just need some help, I need the Lord. I need direction. What do you say to a woman who's in that season of her life?
Absolutely. I think we all kind of, at some point, have gone through that season or currently going through that season. I think one of the most important parts is taking a pause. If you have a spiritual life, which we're hoping that everybody does who believes in Jesus, is that you just take that time to really ask God, like, what am I supposed to be doing? How do I navigate all of this?
Mhm.
I'm also big on planning. I'm big on writing things down. Sometimes we feel so overwhelmed and we feel like it's a million things going on and or that we have in our head when it's only one or two things and they're just so compact that we just got to take that time to really just write things down, take a step back and say, okay, where do I begin? Um, it's about partializing, which is a therapeutic word, is breaking things down into smaller, manageable parts.
Okay.
Everything seems so huge, but
Mhm.
how are you going to tackle those things? I like to say to my clients, every day can't be a Thanksgiving plate. You can't have so much on your plate every day and feel like you're going to be able to digest that. But either way, how you take or eat a Thanksgiving plate is one bite at a time. So a lot of the things when people feel overwhelmed and don't know where to start, sometimes it's just about starting, taking that one step and saying, okay, if I finish this task, I can do this.
Mhm.
God is
Mhm.
calling me to do this, then surely He's going to give me the way to actually navigate all of those things. So it's
Mhm.
about pausing, praying, and preparing. Oh, that just came to me right there.
Listen, write that down. Hold on, hold on. Say it again so we can write it down for the people in the back, in the
Pausing,
overflow.
praying, and preparing. Like,
Okay, okay. All right. So now I'm about to take it a step further. So we talked about pausing. Now let's talk about praying. We're gonna break the three P's. Everybody say the three M's. I don't know where else from. The three P's down. Okay. So we got pausing. So how do you handle prayer in a
mhm.
space where you just trying to figure it out? Your head is all over the place, and you've been praying, and now you're like, okay, God, ain't nothing happening. So we're
Mhm.
gonna break these P's down. So what do you tell a woman, whether it's from your vocation or your career, or if you could say something to a woman who's like, I've been praying and ain't nothing, I don't see it. What would you say?
I think I've also been in that season too, where it's like, okay, I prayed, and I'm not sure, God, what am I supposed to be doing? But sometimes God has already given us the instructions and told us, but here, okay, God, I need another sign. Well, I already told you 2 signs ago what you're needing to do.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
have to start moving and trusting and having faith to know that even if you don't see a way, I'm going to make a way. Even if you don't understand where you're supposed to be, start with the vision that I've given you. Start with the very thing that you've already prayed for. Start there. Sometimes it's even about us making sure that we're developing that prayer life. Like okay, yes, we may pray to God in a crisis situation. And then, okay, we put them on the shelf. Then we made,
Yeah.
oh, God, you gave me this, and we put them on the shelf. But it's really about making sure that we're actually seeking God every single day
Yeah.
for His
Yeah.
direction, His will for our life. It's easy to get what we got and then go on about our business, but
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
develop a relationship to know, okay, God, if you're not talking in this season, that means I'm supposed to be doing what you've already told me to.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
If you're not talking in this season, that means that there's something that you've already given me, and I just have to start executing, walking out
Yeah.
on faith, and actually
Yeah.
doing the very thing that you called me to do.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it. And the other thing, it's funny because as we're growing and maturing in Christ, we should get to a point where we're no longer praying the God is this you prayers or God, rescue me prayers. Now it's
Mhm.
a prayer in faith, right? A prayer knowing that God has already promised he will do it. He's already made a way. And I don't need any more. Like I always say, I can tell Stephen's voice because I
Mhm.
spend time with him. I'm around him all the time, Lord. We're here together every day, but that's a beautiful thing. But yes, so forgive the raw eyes. We're here every day. So, but I know his voice, right? I know his voice because I spend time with him. It's the same
Right.
thing with God. The more time we spend with God, the more we know his voice. His word says, "My sheep know my voice."
Mhm.
And so, if we want to hear from God, we ought to be at a point spiritually. And everybody, we're all going through, we're in a journey. But I know for me, I'm at a point where I don't have to keep asking God, "Is this you? Is this you?"
Mhm.
Because I be knowing. I just don't want to do it. Because that's the other
Absolutely.
thing, I just don't want to, either I don't want to do it or I'm afraid to do it.
Mhm. Mm.
And so let me ask you, tell me about a time that you have had that fear. And like how did you get out of it?
Whew. I think also, just to kind of piggyback from that is
Mhm.
growing up as a PK, my dad would give us so many different lessons. He would tell us, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you seek the Father. This is how he taught us those
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
things. But it wasn't until I developed my own relationship that I really understood what that really meant and how that looked.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, I really think one of the biggest things was when I launched my own business. Um, After I graduated grad school, it's like, okay, God, I don't want to work for a company per se. I
Hmm.
knew where I current my previous positions, I had outgrew those because it's like there's nothing else I'm learning. I'm trying to make
Hmm.
changes, but nothing is happening. Um, and so he gave me the idea of, well, the name Ready Therapeutic Solutions, and that name stuck with me for at least a year or two before I actually launched my company. And so in that, it became okay, this is what I'm praying for, but God, I also need a sign. So this was
Hmm.
one day before I actually started officially going back to the church completely. Like I was in and out. Okay, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
We all been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so one Sunday, I said, let me get up and just watch somebody. And a sermon from TD Jakes came on. It was live,
Hmm.
and it was like the perfect message. And it was called Permission to Go. And so every single thing that I had been praying about, okay, God, do I launch this business? Okay, God, do I do A, B, and C? Okay, God, what do I
Hmm.
do? Kid you not, TD Jakes spoke everything. He was like, you've been praying for this business and God's giving you permission. You just have to go. And so I went back and forth. I'm like, okay, but this job is secure. I know there's a paycheck
Right.
every week.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
What am
Yes,
I going
ma'am.
to do? And the moment that I said, it was at the end of 2021, I believe, when I said, okay, I'm done.
Hmm.
I gave my notice. Well, and I ended the year off
Hmm.
at that other job. So 2022, I started, okay, I'm consulting, I'm started doing all these things. And although it was a little shaky, I kid you not, because I walked and I'm walking in my purpose, God has given me more money than I could think of. He's increased my territory. He's put me in rooms that I didn't even know I
Yeah.
was going to
Yeah.
be in.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one. And
Yeah.
it's just been such a blessing to actually walk into what God has called you to do. Not saying everybody's an entrepreneur or, everyone doesn't have that type of role, but whatever it is that you're seeking God for, sometimes you just got to move,
Yeah.
listen to his voice. He's already told you. And then I said, okay, God, is that true?
Yeah.
TD came with the exact same message and prayer. And I'm like, okay, it's time. So going from the fear aspect to walking completely in faith, whew, you just got to do it sometimes.
Okay, so last question, because I'm not gonna take up all your time. Plus, I want the ladies to just hear a little bit more from you and about you, and then you're gonna give them a lot more we know at the retreat. But um, how did you handle the weight of? And I'm looking at the window because these questions are all none of them scripted, y'all. Okay, in real life, Deanna don't know what I'm asking, so y'all need to give her a round of applause because she's answering, which I knew. But how do you handle the journey when in your mind is something different? You know what God has said, you know what God is calling you to do, and or you may not, right? But you're trying to figure that out, but you're also struggling with imposter syndrome and being the, let's just say, only woman in the room, and being all the other responsibilities, career responsibilities, financial responsibilities, maternal responsibilities, being even as we're getting older, so are our parents. So now having to look at the aging of you. So how do you handle all of that and still try to get up every day, brush your teeth, wash your face, comb your hair? That's why I cut mine off. I have to pray that problem. But whatever it is, and try to manage all of that. Because I think that's where many of us get stuck in trusting God or believing if it's God. Because like, he can't be calling me to do nothing else because I don't have any other room on my plate for it. So how did you handle it? And what do you say to a woman's like, yeah, I hear you, Dan. That sounds real good. But girl, I got about 22 things in my head right now. And if I add one more thing, I'm going to explode.
I think the biggest thing with that is knowing your capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Although, yes, we have different spaces that we're in our life, different moving parts, you still have to know your capacity. You still have to know when you are running on fumes. Just like they say on the plane, put your seatbelt on first or your oxygen mask on first before
Mm-hmm.
you help someone else. Younger minded me, I'm like, why would I, put mine on first before I help the other person?
Mm-hmm.
That's selfish. But in reality, it's not, because how are you going to help someone else if you running out of oxygen? You passing out now y'all both, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. We both about to pass out. Yeah.
So it's about making sure you're taking care of you first. Learning when to say no, learning when to say, okay, I can't do this thing because I'm running on all these other things. I think even when it comes to just the different roles that I play in my life and my friends, my family's life, it's about me first. And I know sometimes people are like, well, that's kind of selfish, or
That's what people say, it's selfish. Mm-hmm.
it's not, because you are no good to anyone else if you're not first helping yourself. If you're not praying for clarity, and someone who is great that is going to be on this lovely
Mm-hmm.
panel as well, or at the retreat as well, said everyone isn't your assignment.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. That, okay, yeah, sometimes you may help a little bit, but if you're feeling like somebody is like pulling on you too much and
Yeah.
if you're only being able to pour into them, but you're not filling yourself up, maybe they're not your assignment. So
Yeah.
sometimes you got to learn and pray, God, is this person my assignment, or am I just doing the wrong thing?
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. That's all I got. That's all I got. Talk about your I don't want to say present, your workshop, your message to the women who are coming to the renewal retreat. Really quickly,
Mm,
share what they can, not too much because we don't want them to have too much. We want them to have it there, but talk a little bit about what you're going to cover.
mental health and Jesus, honestly. The briefest summary. But about figuring out different ways to intertwine the two. Knowing that it's okay to go to therapy and also pray about things. It's okay
Mhm.
to have your moments where you feel like you're battling anxiety and depression, but also you praise Him because you know that you're going to see God's going to get you through this thing. So it's about marrying those two.
Awesome.
And I'll
Okay.
leave.
Well, tell ladies how they can stay in touch with you, get in touch with you, even seek your services. Because I mean, there may be some women who come to the retreat who watch this who like, I need to schedule something with her before I even see her face and hug her neck in the actual building. So tell everybody about Ready Therapeutics. Look, Ready Therapeutic Solutions.
Absolutely. So, Ready Therapeutic Solutions is on Instagram and Facebook. We also have a website, www.readytherapeutic.solutions.com. You can send a message there. You can click the link in my Instagram bio to directly send a message. We're also on Psychology Today, where you can see the different pricing for therapy services and all of the different things that I specialize in. So, we are moving and grooving.
All right then. Well, thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
Ladies, you definitely want to be a part of this retreat. I know you know this already because y'all are coming. But here's what I also have invited every woman to do. If you know someone who you believe will be blessed by this retreat, there's still time for you to go ahead and invite her. But then what I'm challenging you to do is to register her. Because it's something about saying, hey, sis, I believe in you and I'm going to pay the $50 deposit. Then all you got to come up with is the other part, which is 65 if I'm doing the math right. So yeah, so it's like, hey, listen, I've already paid because I want to be able to bless you and I want you to be in the room. So I invite you to invite someone with you. Deanna will be there. She's bringing her sister and they're going to stay the whole time. So we're going to worship together. We're going to praise together. We're going to grow together. And so Deanna, thank you so very much, honey bunch, for being a part of this. And we cannot wait to see you.
Very
So
excited.
ladies, we'll see you all very soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Bye.